So if you're not familiar with the term flooding, basically what flooding is taking a lot of different layers of hydrating products and layering them up.
A few moments later.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lisa. If you're new here, I'm a 51-year-old mother of two, grandmother of one who loves beauty and skincare, fashion and home goods, and I would love to have you join me here on my channel. I'll be posting videos once a week as well as some shorts throughout the week just sprinkled on in there. And so welcome in. If you like this kind of content, please do subscribe and ring the bell so that you can get those notifications. So I want to talk with y'all a little bit today about something that is really, really important for us as we get older, and that is skincare. So I am a dry skin girl. I have always had very dry skin, even when I was younger, in high school, as a teenager, all throughout my 20s, 30s, 40s, and now on into my 50s. I have been continuously dealing with dry skin. It is just something that I have had to learn to accommodate as part of who I am and what I am as an individual. And so I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I do to combat some of the dryness here that I'm experiencing. To let you know a little bit about my skin, I am 51 years old and I am untouched. So what I mean when I say untouched is that I have not had any cosmetic procedures on my face at all. And that includes fillers, Botox, facelifts, chin augmentations, none of it. I have done literally nothing to my facial skin. So if you take a look here, you can see some of the things that I deal with. I have a dry patch here. It's just a continuous thing that I've always had. And if you look at my forehead, I can move those eyebrows. You can see my little forehead indentations there. I have my crinkly smile lines, and those are good ones to have because that means that you've had a happy life and you've smiled a lot. As well as, my dimples are kind of fading in a little bit more deeply. I do have lines here that are starting to come in. And I stumbled across a term that I had not heard before recently that describes something that I have been doing for quite some time as a dry skin girl. So I've always had very, very dry skin, even as a young woman in my teenage years. I have constantly been battling dry skin. And so the way that I deal with the dryness and the way that I've dealt with the dryness over the years is just to heap on as much moisture as possible to keep my skin hydrated. Now, I did not know at the time that what I was doing is now a current skin trend called flooding. So what flooding is taking a number of hydrating products and layering them onto your skin to provide moisture to the skin, to keep it plump, to keep it hydrated. And that is what I do with my skin. Now, as a dry skin girl, I have been doing this for decades without realizing that there was a name associated with it. And that name again is flooding. So I want to share with you how I flood my skin with moisture every day. I'll start with my morning products and routine, and then we'll talk about what I do and what I add on and change up for the evening. So let's start in the morning here. So imagine that I have just woken up and I am getting ready to go through my skin routine. So the first thing you need to know about what I do in the morning is I do not wash my face in the morning. Can you believe it? I don't, because my skin is so dry and I have used all kinds of cleansers. I've done cream cleansers, foaming cleansers, oil cleansers. It does not matter what I put on my skin to cleanse it in the morning. It is guaranteed to sap every bit of moisture out of my skin. And with dry skin, the way that I have dry skin, I just cannot afford to lose any moisture at all. So if I'm doing that full shower, I will just splash my face with a little water from the shower, not too much, just enough to get it wet and kind of melt down some of the moisturizer that I put on my face the night before. If I'm not taking a shower, then I will simply take a wash rag, wet it, and just go over my face lightly to, again, kind of smooth out all of the moisturizing products that I use in the evening. And again, since I do wash my face at night before I go to bed really well, I don't feel the need necessarily to wash it again in the morning. I am not dirty. All I have done is slept, right? So that splash of water is the perfect amount of cleansing for my personal skin type. Then I get in and I start my routine. So the first thing that I use when I start my skincare routine in the morning is a facial spray. So this is a hydrating facial spray. This one is from Mario Badescu. This one happens to be the coconut and adaptogens, but there's a wide range of scents and actives in this line, and it doesn't really seem to matter what scent you choose or what variety you choose. They all seem to have about the same effect. Now, this particular one is kind of controversial in the skincare realm because it can be sensitizing to people who find themselves sensitive to things like fragrances. My skin is only sensitive to certain sunscreens, so I do not have a problem using this. I've been using this brand of facial spray for years with no ill effect. So you need to go out and find one that works well for you. But this is the first step in my flooding routine in the morning. My next step then is to start in with serums. So the first serum that I like to use is the CosRx Snail Mucin. I like this one because it seems to really smooth everything out and get everything going really well. Provides a protective layer over my skin, kind of repairing that skin barrier, which is really essential, especially if you are like me and you're using some anti-aging products in the evening. You definitely want to continue to build your skin's barrier as you're breaking it down with products that will smooth away some of the dryness and things like that. So this is one that I like. This is my second bottle of this one, and these bottles for me, they last about 6 months or so. And so this is my second bottle of this one. Once I'm done with the Snail Mucin, then I go back in with my facial spray. So in between each and every layer, I do use the facial spray. And then I go in with a second serum. So you may not need to use a second serum. I personally feel like I need to. So the one that I like to use is this Biossance Squalane and Copper Peptide Serum. And so this is my morning serum that I use. It hydrates, it has squalane to provide some moisture to the skin, some hyaluronic acid to hold and bind moisture to the skin. So I feel like this is a really effective product for that purpose. And then again, I go in with my facial spray and spray another time. And then my moisturizer that I've been using now for over a year is also from Biossance, and that is the Squalane and Omega Repair Cream. So I find this to be a really effective moisturizer. It's thick and rich. It feels very hydrating on the skin. And because it's winter, I do an additional to this. So I also add in some oil with this. So what I do is I take this oil, right now I'm using the Josie Maran Argan Oil, and I just take a little oil, take a little moisturizer, put them in my palm, mix them together, and then apply them to my skin. And then once that is done, of course, my final step in the morning is to go back in with my facial spray one more time. So the thing is, with products like these, where they're very hydrating and they have a lot of hyaluronic acid, which is intended to draw moisture out of the atmosphere and plump up the skin, you need to give it some moisture to help it do the plumping, right? And so I find that spritzing with a little facial spray does do that. It tends to help pull that moisture into the skin, plump it up. So the last step in my skincare routine in the morning is to apply sunscreen. And the sunscreen that I use has to fulfill two main goals. Number one, it has to be effective. You can see that I am fair-skinned, so I do need to have protection from UVA and UVB rays, both for burn and also for aging. But I also need something that is not going to be irritating to my skin, because as I said before, my skin can be very, very sensitive to sunscreen. And so I want to make sure that whatever it is that I'm putting on is not going to irritate my skin. I recently had a really bad bout of some irritation from a particular sunscreen that I used that caused me some terrible irritation. I actually broke out into hives. It took me a couple of times before I realized, oh, it's this sunscreen that I was using. It was a spray-on sunscreen intended to be a setting spray plus sunscreen that I was using before I left for the day when I was going out golfing. And it definitely provided some serious irritation to my skin. So when I figured that out, I was like, oh gosh. So I stopped using that, tossed it. I no longer have that in my kit. I went back to using my standby, tried and true, Supergoop Unseen sunscreen. So if you have sensitive skin to sunscreen, I do use mineral sunscreens, but I find that those can be sticky, they can be goopy, they can give a white cast, even the ones that are tinted, and also they'll give flashback in pictures, things that you really don't want in your sunscreen. And Supergoop's Unseen Sunscreen is just like the name says, it is unseen. It is a silicone, smooth sunscreen, feels very light and sheer on the skin, but definitely provides the right amount of protection for me, and also provides a really nice base for makeup as well. So that is my final step in the morning. In the evening, I need to make some changes to my routine. I need to bring in products that are going to provide some anti-aging benefits. And also I need to cleanse my skin and take off all the makeup and the daily grime that gets onto your skin throughout the day. So let's start with cleansing. I do a double cleanse, but not the double cleanse that you might think of that most people talk about. When most people say double cleanse, what they mean is to use a cleansing oil or balm and then follow up with some kind of lathering, foaming product. Now, with me and my dry skin, that is not going to work. So my double cleanse is to first start with a micellar water. So the one that I've been using for a while here, this is my second bottle of the Bioderma Sensibio H2O micellar water. This works great. It gets that first step of taking off that first layer, really getting the makeup off, taking off eye makeup. This takes it all right off your skin. So this is a great one. I've also used the Garnier micellar water, and that one works well as well, the one with the pink lid. And then I do my second step of the cleanse, which is an oil cleanse. So the one that I've been using for quite some time is this one right here from Japan. This is an oil cleanse that really seems to work great for me and for my skin. Once I'm done cleansing, right, then I need to get in and I need to do a little toning. So I don't tone in the morning, I only tone in the evening. And the product that I use for my toner is the Mario Badescu glycolic acid toner. So this is what I use. This is my second bottle of this one. And I find that this is gentle enough for my skin. It's not stripping, it's alcohol free, and it provides a little bit, a skosh, a hair of anti-aging benefit through that glycolic acid, kind of getting a start of eating up the dead skin cells from the top of my skin. And once I'm toned and ready to go, of course, then I start going in with products. So I go back to my CosRx Snail Mucin and put that one back on. And then I spritz, right? Y'all know it, right? I spritz with that skin spray, the facial spray from Mario Badescu. And then I'm going to go in with another anti-aging product, and this one is also from Biossance, and this is the squalane and lactic acid resurfacing serum. So I've been using this one for a while with no ill effects. It's very gentle. It's not as harsh as like a retinol or a retinoid, which is going to provide a lot more irritation because of the strength of the acid on your skin. This one seems to work well for me, and I tend to use it every night in order to kind of eat up again all of those dead skin cells and things off of my skin to provide some clarity and to provide some anti-aging. Once that is done, then I need to go in and moisturize. So again, for my moisturizer, I use the same one morning and evening, that Biossance Squalane and Omega Repair Cream. Again, I think this one is great. If it's winter time, I'll combine it with the argan oil or another skin oil. And then the last step that I do is to provide a real nice barrier on my skin to hold that moisture in. So what I use for that is going to be the Egyptian Magic here. So this is my barrier cream. And I know on the label it says all-purpose skin cream, but this is not a cream product. So if you've never used it, if you've heard of it and you've thought about trying it and you've never used it before, it is definitely not a cream. I know I was surprised when I first opened it about what it actually was. So this is a combination of olive oil, beeswax, honey, propolis, royal jelly, and it's intended as a barrier. So it is actually not a cream. When you open it up and you take a look inside, look at it, it actually looks a little bit more like petroleum jelly, like Vaseline. But it's not. It is definitely, you know, all those good things, the beeswax, the olive oil mixed together. When you take it out, right? You get a little bit on your finger, rub it between your palms, and it's going to liquefy. You can see that sheen there. It actually breaks down with the heat of your skin, and then you just press it into your skin. If you want to do that process of slugging, which is where you really coat yourself with a thick coating of some kind of oil-based product, you could also do that. And the way you would do that then is to take out quite a lot more than what I showed you and really slather it all over your skin. My mother-in-law does that, and she has the most beautiful skin, y'all. So it's a really great product. It is time-tested, a classic product, and it definitely helps to hold moisture on your skin. So that is what I do to take care of my skin through this process of flooding. Now, when you flood your skin, you are giving the maximum, right? The maximum effort for the maximum result, and that is flooding. There's another skincare trend that's out there called streaming. And what streaming is streamlining your products in order to get the most result from the fewest number of products. Now, if you have sensitive skin, you might want to try streaming instead of flooding, because again, every time you layer a product one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, you are providing instances and opportunities for you to irritate your skin. So if you are going to try flooding, you might have to experiment and see the products that seem to work best, or you can also choose to take all of the products from the same line of products, and that can also reduce the amount of inflammation or irritation that might occur, because all of the products then would be designed to work together. So let's talk a little bit about streaming, because I had to streamline or stream my skincare when I had that incident with the sunscreen that irritated my skin. I had to backpedal quite a lot from the products that I was using in order to let that irritation kind of fall away and go down. And so this is what I did to stream my skin. So glycolic acid out, lactic acid out, right? Even my micellar water for a while I didn't touch. And basically what I put on my skin was this. I cleansed with my oil. I used my skin spray, right? My facial spray from Mario Badescu. And then I used my snail mucin. And I used my cream. And that was it. And that was what I did while my skin was irritated until I saw that irritation coming back down. And then I was able to start bringing in products. I did not bring back any acids though until my skin was completely back to where it had been before with no irritation. So thank you so much for joining me as we talked a little bit about skincare and flooding and what that process is and how we can accomplish it with some products here in our own bathrooms. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and in the comments below, let me know what you're using for your own skincare at home. Until I see you again, be safe, be well, and be happy. Bye.